We're traveling across the pond, I guess you could say, for our first interview on day 2 of Oracle TV with Jason Reese. He is the Oracle Vice President and Head of Technology for EMEA. Hi, Jason, good to see you.
Hello, nice to see you, Fritz.
You too. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your role here at Oracle.
So in Oracle, I work in EMEA, in our EMEA region, and I run our technology, software and cloud engineering team. So they're the cloud architects, the specialists that interact with customers on a daily basis and help them sort of transform their business.
All right, you're in the thick of it.
You're in the thick of it. Tell us, what is going on in the region right now that maybe our viewers at home don't know about?
It's just super exciting. I mean, there's a huge amount of transformation going on. Many clients trying to reduce technical debt, reduce the cost, trying to optimize, obviously from an economic point of view, that's important, but also doing really innovative stuff as well. I heard at the beginning of the show, you guys talking about AI, everyone's now talking about exploiting data, making sure that they can get the value out of data, and it's just lots of really innovative things that are going on, as well as probably quite traditional things of just customers saying, look, I want to shut data centers down, I want to move to cloud, I want to do different things. So there's a bunch of great stuff going on, and it's super exciting every day.
Okay, so with some of that transition and some of the technology we're talking about, AI, cloud, all of that, what are the challenges that our customers are facing? And then with that, we like to look at challenges and think, what are the opportunities in which stem from those challenges?
I think across Europe and Middle East, obviously, maybe the viewers don't understand that, although it's Europe, every different country has its own particular compliance and regulations and things like that. So one of the things we always have to do is understand what environment that customer, that client is working in. One of the things we've done recently is obviously launched the EU Sovereign Cloud, which is the idea of being able to actually sort of give I suppose, more reassurance to those customers that actually their data is operated by EU sort of nationals and the like. So each country operates in its own way, there's huge dynamics across the region. So what we always need to do is make sure we're understanding the customer's language, the customer's sort of viewpoint first. But I say there's a bunch of great opportunity for Oracle for sure.
Yeah, we can't have the German cloud mixing with the French cloud. It's not.
Well, as a British person, I couldn't comment, but I know what you mean.
Gotcha. Yeah. How is Oracle uniquely positioned to help organizations in the region succeed?
I mean, again, you guys mentioned it earlier, multi-cloud is such an important thing. I think it fits absolutely at the center of our distributed cloud strategy. For me, it's all about choice. And I think that's why Oracle has got such differentiation. If a customer still wants to run our software in their data centers, they can, no problem at all. If they want to run our software in a cloud environment within their data center, we've got things like Cloud at Customer. And I think the multi-cloud stuff, I attended the session with Karan and Corey yesterday on the multi-cloud stuff. And the energy in the room was just amazing. It was just the fact that, the customers in the room were saying, Oracle's now actually driving this entire agenda around multi-cloud and choice. And again, Larry said in his keynote yesterday, we used to do this within our data centers. People use best of breed, different technologies. Why would we not do it in the cloud? So removing those walled gardens, creating that Internet of Clouds that Larry talks about, for me, that's the big differentiator and what our clients across Europe and Middle East want. They want to be able to look at the right service, and that may be an Azure service, maybe an Oracle service. They want to be able to understand and get the value out of those different services at their choice. Right. We need to remove the engineering headaches.
Yeah.
So it's huge.
I like that. He said it yesterday, right? Making it easier for our customer. Why wouldn't we make it easier?
Well, absolutely. I mean, ultimately, it's for us as technology companies to show the value of what we can do.
Yeah.
If our customer decides to go one way or the other, we should respect that, but we should make it easy. But I'd say also, obviously within the region, you can't move now without anyone talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and again, I thought there's some great stuff yesterday. Greg Pavic did a brilliant job in all the sessions I was at.
Yeah, he was great. We had him here too. Mm-hmm. Can you give us some examples of how we're already doing this for customers in the region?
Yeah, so I think we talked last year a lot about Deutsche Bank was spoken about, Vodafone was spoken about. Sure. What we do a lot in the region is talk to customers who are trying to modernize their Oracle environments. They're trying to reduce costs. So there's the big banks, the big telecommunication companies, more and more public sector as well, trying to get into that. But also we're doing a lot of work now with startups, because startups are trying to innovate and create new products and the like. And what we actually now see is a crossover in the enterprise, where as much they're trying to reduce costs and operate and do the back office systems, probably move to Fusion apps and the like, they're also trying to create new products and innovations as well. So there's a huge amount of customers, and Middle East in particular has got a huge amount of innovation. Digitalization is just, what everyone's trying to do. And again, each country wants to do it a slightly different way. So, it's a challenge, but it's a really welcome challenge.
I was about to say it makes your job super easy.
Yeah, well, what we need to do always is understand what the customer's trying to achieve. In the past, maybe in Oracle, we thought we had the solution, we would sort of tell them. All our buyers are so much more educated now, so we need to always understand what they're doing, consult with them, and ultimately, certainly in the world of cloud, and again, Safra said this a few months ago, at the booking stage, that's not the end of the journey. Making sure the customer's successful, making sure they're getting the value out of our services, that's the mission of Oracle, and I love that.
Yeah, and we're seeing it here, right, with the customer success circuit, which is literally right behind us, and everything that we're doing with customer success services.
Absolutely.
It's incredible. Okay, so you've talked about these trends that we're seeing in the EMEA region, from multi-cloud to AI, but are these and you've talked about how it varies amongst the countries in the region.
Yep.
But what are you seeing? How are you seeing these trends vary by industry in the region?
Yeah, again, banking is huge in the region. So, the big banks are still running their mission critical workloads on Oracle. A lot of them are now transforming to the cloud, be it cloud at customer, because they want to, still, again, those regulations. So that's huge what they're trying to do. But they're also, again, telco, manufacturing, retailers. Actually, I would say there's not one industry that I think has it nailed. In fact, if anything, all the industries are trying to learn from each other.
Right.
If you look at a bank is a retailer in many regards as well, and vice versa. So I think what we're seeing is almost I suppose an overlap with different industries, and they're all trying to learn from each other. And I thought yesterday, just not a European example, but I thought the Uber example yesterday was just fantastic. I was so excited, and I particularly like they want to out Amazon. I quite like that as well. But again, that's an example where we can learn about that. What is Uber? I don't even know how you define that industry, right? They're a retailer, they're a transportation company. So yeah, I think each industry has its own challenges, but very common challenges. They're all trying to reduce cost. They're all trying to create new innovation, unlock the potential of data. They're all that's the commonality I see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that Uber, we think of them as a newer company, but they're 13 years old, right? But they're still trying to reinvent themselves.
And it was just amazing. I loved Dara, right? It was
Dara.
I love that Dara drives Ubers around the Bay Area, right? I thought that was just a super way of understanding who his customer was, because we're his customer, but actually he understands his drivers are his customer as well. And I thought that was a really powerful thing he said.
Yeah, he said they're each their own little individuals.
That's right.
They each have a P&L.
That's right.
It was really very.
And I think, going back to your question about industry, I think that's what we see is that we would traditionally see, a manufacturer doing this, doing that. But actually now what they're maybe doing is trying to exploit digital twins to be able to actually, again, use AI or machine learning to be able to actually reduce the amount of maintenance that they need to do. So each sort of industry is now almost trying to reinvent themselves and look at different problems in different ways.
Yeah, and we saw Emerson is an automation company now. Wasn't when they started.
Absolutely. So there's a real overlap, as you say. Yeah.
Let's just end on the topic of the day. We've talked about it a couple of different times. What excites you most about AI for the EMEA region?
I thought, again, some of the examples given yesterday were just fantastic. I went to a Deloitte session, and one of the big things they talked about was don't spend all your time trying to think and POC and do the like. Just get involved. And I think what AI is going to allow us to do, I use AI myself, as a person, and it allows me now to just get access to information and summarize information that it frees up my time to do stuff. And I think if you look across what the enterprises can do with the data that they can unlock, I think there's so much potential. I think that's the most exciting thing. Almost we don't know what AI can do. Again, Greg talked yesterday around removing the sort of mundane tasks.
Right.
You know, I love the fact that now, from an autonomous database point of view, actually people are thinking, they now start thinking, oh, autonomous database is using machine learning and AI to automate. So now they're going to start thinking, oh, actually that's still AI and the like. So I think there'll be massive transformation in just, at the moment, I don't think we know what artificial intelligence will do. But I would say yesterday, I particularly liked the Tesla Oracle police car. I thought that was super cool.
Hey, that's coming on Oracle TV soon. So
Is it?
yeah,
I thought that was
tuned.
amazing. I think suddenly my children may actually see it's not just Red Bull, but actually Oracle Tesla cars make us cool.
There you go.
I like that. Get it on your shopping list now. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much, Jason,
No, thank you.
for joining us.